So when you're going through a storm, I think having something like, whether it be yourself, whether it be that's bigger than you got to have something that says, I'm not going to give up. And then secondly, you got to put yourself and you got to ask people, like you got to humble yourself, put that bravado away and be like, yo, I'm in this position right now. I don't have anything. What do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to do. And you'll get plays, you'll get opportunities. And it's hard. Like, even when you hit a high height, people just think like, man, everything is always going to be great. But it's your pride. Like, it's a book called The Four Agreements. And it talks about never take things personal, never make assumptions. And it's another good point, but it's like never take things personal. So if I reach out to this person and I express what's going on and he doesn't give me the answer or help that I want, I don't just stop right there. I keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. And it's usually the people that are 1 degree of separation away that do more for you than people you've known your whole life. Mm.
Peace, family. Will Roundtree here on the Full-Time CEO podcast, the shit they don't tell you, where I get to interview influential individuals, businessmen, businesswomen, entrepreneurs, moguls, legends, and everything in between. And today I'm excited because I get to interview not only a good friend of mine, a brother of mine, but somebody who I think is just an extremely dope individual. Had an opportunity to meet this young man a few years ago. Was in Houston, Texas, and he came out to my event. We got a chance to build, and not only did we get a chance to build, we actually got to talk offline. Because it's one thing when you go to an event and you're amongst a lot of lights, glitz, glamour, testosterone, all of that. Sometimes it's hard to meet the authentic individual, and so once we got a chance to actually talk offline. We got to building. He had a fundraiser he was putting together. And after only meeting him that day, he didn't even have to tell me what it was about. I just donated because I felt the energy. I saw what he was doing out there in this community. And I just loved, everything that he stood for, not only as a man, but just someone as a stand-up individual and human being. I love the fact that, he's a dad's. He's a son's dad. They call girls dad, but he's a son's dad because he does so much with his son and not only just being a father and raising him, but he's really instilling things in him that we don't get an opportunity to see up close because for whatever reason that may be. And it reminded me so much of my relationship with my son. And so I'm going to go ahead and just stamp legend. We're going to stamp mogul. He got a lot of dope stuff going on. He's done some tremendous things in the business world, from everything from NFTs to Bitcoin to the medical industry. We're going to talk about all that. So I'm going to introduce my good friend, my brother, the up-and-coming legend, Robert, a.k.a. Rob Coates. What's going on, man?
What's good, man? Glad to be here with you, man. Glad to be building, as usual.
Man, look, I know they said that it's sunny out in Miami where you're at, but once you start putting on all that ice, it got brighter. So, hey, he lighting up half of Miami, y'all. If you haven't seen Rob's Instagram, that'll motivate you. If you sleeping on somebody's couch, go watch Rob's Instagram. It'll motivate you to get your ass up and go put in some work, man. What's going on with you, Rob?
Man, just blessed, man. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be talking to you, man. Just really, I posted something today about like floods. Because everybody's checking, like, yo, are you okay with the flood? I mean, not the flood, but the hurricane. And it's like when you've been in a hurricane and you got everything destroyed, you appreciate life. You appreciate things a little differently. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, as long as you got breath, because I've had everything wiped away. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. I can talk about, I've actually been in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful. And I was like, man, should I be subtle or should I be me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm being me.
No, definitely, man. And we're going to get into some of your story and journey because, as you and I developed our relationship, just some of the things you've shared with me, man, it would have taken anybody out mentally, but you just always persevered. And I know that's why you are blessed to be in the situation that you're in because you never gave up. And so Now, when people see Rob, they see the high fashion, the tailored, you in third Dior suits and in the dawns and all of that stuff, but they don't know the backstory.
Yeah.
They don't know the journey. They don't know the losing of everything. They don't know like some of the stuff that you shared with me made my jaw drop. Just like, man, and you just kept going, and you always got a smile on your face, no matter what the temperament of what you're going through. So who is Rob Coates first? Let's start there, man.
Man, who's Rob Coates? And, it's taken a lot of self-discovery and a lot of therapy to really get to the core of who Rob Coates is. But I'm a father first, like I'm a father first. That's my best title. I got one son that's 6 years old, and I'm a great friend. Then businessman and all those other things come, but like, I'm just a person that, I'm extremely humble. You wouldn't know that unless we had conversations. You really know me like that. But like, I don't really, I've had so many L's, like I don't really care about material things, but I know that this is what gets, the younger viewers, like, cause they need somebody to look up to, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I really do it. But in general, man, I'm a person that's searching, you know what I'm saying? Trying to go after purpose and keep my focus on things that's good and, all that stuff like that too. But I slip, I have a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of L's too at the same time. So I always want to remain just transparent because everything that like glitters ain't gold. You know what I'm saying? So I would say I'm still becoming who I'm going to truly be, but I'm grateful for, everything I have and where I am now and to be alive.
Man, let's touch a little bit about on that therapy part. Cause I think that's something that, we don't necessarily, do enough research to see if it's beneficial for us. And and it's easy to say, oh, go to therapy. And it may not be for everybody. And that's cool. But that's something that you saw fit that was a part of helping you grow and become and a part of your journey. Is something that I utilize and that I've been leveraging for the past 3 years. And I often tell people like therapy has helped me just find peace within. It's not necessarily because you need to be fixed. It's not because but it helps you to find peace to deal with certain situations and scenarios because like you mentioned, people see the lifestyle, they see the traveling, but they don't understand what we go through mentally, the dynamics of dealing with different personalities and relationships. We got our personal life, we got our business life, then we got our social life, we got our brand life and all of those things. What was it that was like, you know what? Therapy is something that I want to dive into.
I got a good friend named King J. Barnett, who's an amazing therapist, amazing friend. And we were both going through a trial. I was going through a painful divorce. I was going through this losing my house to Hurricane Harvey. I was going through, like I said, losing my father on Father's Day and things like that. So it felt like my world was crashing. And I have a friend named Stephen Chambers who recommended me to a 75-year-old white Jewish lady who was like, man, you need to go talk to her. It's somebody that is she's been doing her practice for 30 years and she's going to give it to you straight. You know what I'm saying? So I really did it because I said, man, the next relationship I get into, I don't want to carry baggage and hurt to the next woman that I eventually date. So it's really started out of me going through, I was going through a separation and I used that to get me forward. But that's the reason why I got into it. And I tell people that therapy is the best money I've ever spent in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the best money because like after you get money and you get all the things you want, and you find out like that's not happiness or that's not inner peace. You're like, it's like, then what? So for me, it's like having to go deeper and look at yourself and say, all right, these are some of the demons that I fight for. Oh, I was wrong there. Oh, I haven't healed. Like I did in therapy, I learned the first day, she was like, you don't have empathy for women. And I'm thinking like, I've always been a nice guy. I've always been charismatic and things like that. But I had to go and dig deep and find out, all right, what experiences hurt me where I don't feel like women care? Because I would date women and I would do all these things, but I never felt, the love from my mother like I wish I would have had. I didn't really get hugs and all those things. I didn't get a lot of validation growing up. So I've always did things to, I always felt like success would make my family and people love me more. So gifts was, all right, if I can just take care of everybody, I'm good. But, when I lose everything, or who am I then? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it took a whole lot, man, and just having to forgive myself, forgive the experiences. And like I learned from Wayne Dyer, he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And a lot of times we're so focused on like everything happening that we don't put a mirror to ourselves and say, okay, how can I change? What am I doing? Am I being lazy? You know what I'm saying? Am I not getting up? Am I just being negative? You know what I'm saying? If I know thoughts, create your life, what are the words I'm speaking? Like, and we never put it on ourselves. And that's what therapy did. It gave me accountability and look at myself and be like, yo, you got to change. For things to change, you must change. And you got to be the first one. So therapy, for any genre, even now, I'm still in therapy. You know what I'm saying? Because you're always working yourself and you're always a student. Like you always learn that, no matter what you get, you always got more things to learn and you got to always grow. And therapy was the start of it for me.
No, and I often compare like our fitness journeys to life. Like once you get in shape, you don't stop going to the gym. So even like you say, when it comes to therapy, it's something that you continue to do because something about our day-to-day always is changing and we have to continue to evolve and change with the day-to-day changes. And I think this is a dialogue that especially us as not only just Black men, but people who are, just going through life. It can be whatever your journey and path is, normalizing it's okay to talk to somebody. And again, it may not necessarily be labeled a therapist, but we can't always resort to just talking to, the people closest to us who are only going to tell you what you want to hear. Yeah. Man, it's going to be all right, man. Forget them. It's their fault. But no, we need somebody who can objectively be like, no, Rob, you were wrong.
Yeah.
This is what you need to work on. Will, this is what you have to heal from. So I appreciate, that level of transparency because a lot of times we live in a world where being fake is cool. So you telling that story, people be like, man, that's lame. It's like, no, I want to be able to walk in my truth. And that's one of the things I've learned through therapy is that's where peace is, when you can be able to really speak your truth and not care about the judgment. Because when people are judging you, it's really just them hurting and wishing they can be as authentic as Rob can and share his truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you're right. Like, therapy taught me to love myself first. I think a lot of times, like success is trauma, and we don't ever talk about like because for some reason when you become successful, they think that means you have all the answers, right? And you're not gonna go through shit, right? So when things happen, and everybody sees you as Superman, but it's like you on days you're gonna still be Clark Kent, and you gotta have a circle. You gotta have people close to you that you can be confident enough not to just share your wins, but to share your losses. And I know as men. And I talked to you about that a lot. I said, I will a couple months ago, and I said, bro, I really need to, change my circle. I got a lot of people that I love, and that's there for me. But I want to keep surrounding myself with people that are better than me, and I want to be able to be open and to share, my heart. When I'm going through this, I want to have an outlet. And then I told you stories, and you told me stories, and it was just, oh shit, we all are hurting, even though it looks like everything is great, but you never know. Like it's always something that no matter what, you're fighting for, what I'm saying? And just having an outlet to be safe. And as men, we don't do that as far like as well as women do. You know what I'm saying? So I always want to be a catalyst to be like, yo, man, like you're gonna have lots of L's, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. But when this happens, like this is how you deal with it. And I think with social media, everything is like get money. But all right, what happens when that shit stops, when it dries up, when you got to make a pivot, when, you're lost, when somebody dies, you know what I'm saying? Like, last month, I had a friend visiting me in Miami, like I said, great friend of mine, and literally like called me, hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I got the Sprinter. Let's celebrate life. And that was the last call that, we ever had. I woke up the next day, a friend of mine saying he got killed by a drunk driver. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's trauma. Like, how do you deal with, okay, you know what I'm saying? This person was on the way to see me. I'm supposed to be in that Sprinter. I could have been in that Sprinter, and that could have been me as well. You know what I'm saying? So when these things happen, you got to always just have an outlet, and you got to be able to process these things deep. Because like when you go through great things, and you're like, all right, God is great, but you also got to target because the enemy, whatever you believe, is also dark energy too. That's right around the corner, and you got to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people don't talk about that enough. You know what I'm saying?
We don't, man. We don't. And that's why, and that's again, as you and I were building over these past few years, like, and me even calling you and saying, Rob, this is a safe place for you to be able to share, and you've opened that and reciprocated that back to me, man.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah. So let's talk about, Rob Coates, the businessman, the entrepreneur. I know, you got your start, in doing some things in the medical space, because again, people, I've had people come to me and be like, oh, Rob Coates. I'm like, yeah, that's my bro. And they be like, what does he do? Like what does he do? So can you please let the people know so they can stop hitting me up, Rob?
Man, what's funny, man, is I always get that. And so at 10 years old, I became an entrepreneur. I remember asking my father for money for the offering basket, right? Because my mother was a minister, my dad was a deacon. We was in church 7 days a week. And he would always be like, I ain't got it, Doc. So at 10, I was like, I'm not asking my dad for money ever again. And I started a candy store. My mom was my first investor. And I learned with the candy store that I could pay my friends to be there in candy while I was still playing. So I was like, oh, I can delegate. Like, I can still do what I want and have fun and still make money. I was like, that's what started the entrepreneurship journey. And at age 12, I started cutting hair. Once again, I got 5 siblings. We lived in a, 2-bedroom house. It was 7 of us, including my parents. I didn't have a bedroom until I was in the 10th grade. But I always known that I was supposed to be wealthy. I've always knew it. You know what I'm saying? I've always talked like it, because I knew it was going to happen, but I just never knew when. In my 20s, I got involved in multi-level marketing, and I did multi-level marketing from 20 to 30, right? I did it for 10 years straight. I wrote some books in between then. And then when I moved to Houston, I actually moved there to do Organo Go with David and Manitier. I got involved in something called compound pharmacy. A friend of mine called me and said, yo, is this product coming out? As long as you can get doctors, to, write these scripts to this pharmacy, the pharmacy will then pay you a big percentage. And I did that, not knowing anything, but knowing how to connect. I was 2012. I moved down there I was with her mother, which is my mother-in-law, 2012, no money, you know what I'm saying? No car, no nothing. And between like May to November, by that time I had everything I ever wanted in 6, 7 months, because I found the right opportunity. And from there, I did compound pharmacy. I opened up personal injury clinics. I just vertically integrated everything that could go with that. I had restaurants, I owned clubs, and everything. I just took that one opportunity, then I maximized it. Then 2018 comes, Hurricane Harvey comes, I lose everything, I lose $5 million. I'm in debt millions. And I'm like, all right, how do I bounce back? And for me, I've always taken relationships very serious because I know relationships are money. I don't have to, know everything, but if I have the right connection, I know I can get in where I fit in. So I leveraged that. I got in PPE. I set up deals where people was getting masks, ventilators. I did that. And then I just always have did several things. To say what I do is funny because I do crypto. I do NFTs. I do, like I said, real estate. I'm really just a serial entrepreneur. I did some private equity with Derek Harper and Ace Chapman. But I'm just always open for possibilities. Like, example, I hit you like, yo, I got a plug, that has a bot. And this bot is crazy. The bot can get whatever new releases. So the Off-Whites came out. It was a very limited release. The shoes retail for $160, but they go for $3,000 online. We was able to, with bots, get 363. So you look at the math. So I'm a serial opportunist, and I'm always open. So I'm like, I don't know what to really call that, because whenever I'm talking to a person, I'm always thinking how can I add value to him? And, what can we do to build business together? But let me add value first. And then from that relationship, I'll get in shit like ERC, right? That's another employee retention credit where now it's an amazing opportunity where people are getting millions of dollars if they have employees. So I don't really know how to fathom that, but my hand is in 15 different things all at once. No. So you tell me what to call that so I can.
Well, one of the things that stood out as you were talking, and of course, I know a lot of this because you and I got a chance to dialogue offline just over time. Relationships, that really has been the most important part of your transition, of your ascending, of your success. That relationship.
Yeah.
What about the relationship aspect that's so important? Because here's the thing. I've met people and, we'll look to try to put together a situation and be like, oh, I don't even like people. And I'm like, how could you not like, like you live on Earth. So how could you make a statement like that? But what is it about the relationships that really is the glue to a lot of, your wins or just wins in general when it comes to people looking to create a win-win scenario?
See, for me, I've never had, even though I have a lot of siblings, bro, I felt like people that I could call, you know what I'm saying? Like if I was going through something that will really be there. So like, I've always been like this being real talk, I got 5 siblings. I've always been close to like my best friends and other people more. Cause I always felt like a black sheep. So I've always took relationships like really well. Cause I'm like, yo, I gotta dig my well before I'm thirsty because I never know when I'm gonna have to utilize this relationship. Cause I have times where I make a killing, you know what I'm saying? Then I invest with the wrong person, then I lose it. You know what I'm saying? Something happens, I send the wire, accounts get froze. It's like, I always have to stay on like the hunt. You know what I'm saying? I never can get comfortable. So for me, I think that's why I take relationships so important because it's like, it's easy. Like if you help this person get everything they want, you'll be able to get what you want. And I always be like, yo, if I can help, I'm in a season where everything is great, but I know life happens. So if I can help Will, if I can help, Beyond or anybody like help themselves or get what they want. If I go through a season and I need something and then like, I'm gonna be like awkward to make that call. You know what I'm saying? Cause I've given a lot of value and I've planted a lot of seeds. So I'm always in my mind, like, yo, I got to plant as many seeds as I can with people. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's always ebbs and flows and people, they forget about that. And I think that's like when you first get success and you haven't been humbled yet, like you can start feeling yourself and think it's you. And one thing about me is like, I know it's not me. It's not God. Anytime I've gotten big headed, I've always had to get humbled. You know what I'm saying? I lose everything. And I'm like, yo, what can I do to be better next time? And for me, it's always like, man, if I invest in the right people now, like it's never going to be an awkward situation. So that's really why I've always like kind of like of respected relationships because everything I've ever did has came from a relationship.
Right.
Everything.
Now, what do you say to those? Because I've had people who are like, well, I tried to build a relationship with so-and-so and, they wasn't open or, I've been hitting so-and-so on the gram. They don't respond or I go to what do you say to those individuals who are looking to try to manifest? Because I sometimes say, well, maybe we have to look at us as the individual because a lot of the times we attract who we are. And if we aren't working on self, people can sense that. If people feel that you're looking at them as only an opportunity or you're looking at them just for access to who they have access to. So what is it that someone could work on that can help them to manifest and develop better relationships?
That's a great question. I went to school for psychology. So I've always been interested in like why people do what they do and think what they think. And then in my 20s, I had something called Network Your Life, where I would like do networking events and I would get like big speakers to come out and I would have jazz. I'll make it really sexy. And I would put people in a position just to win, like where they exchange information, opportunities and things like that. So I did that for 2 years. And from doing that for 2 years, I found out that people don't know how to network. You know what I'm saying? People don't really know how to connect. Like it's very selfish. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I wrote Connect and Grow Rich. How to get everything you want through relationships like that. And I just studied everything, man. And what people can do is the first thing you have to do is you got to figure out, all right, how can I add value? If I like Will, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay. And this is free stuff you can do. All right. I'm gonna like every single one of Will's posts, right? I'm gonna engage, right? I'm gonna do comments. When he has a book, I'm gonna retweet it, right? I'm gonna do these things. So it's like, man, he's going to see it. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, man, that's true. This person really rocked with me. I did that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I always like people's stuff. I always make a comment, and that's free, right? So then if somebody has an event, I'm like, yo, let me blast this to my audience, right? How can I add value? So about time I make a relationship with somebody, it's like we've known each other for a long time because I've invested a lot emotionally, into people's emotional bank account. And I think you just got to find something that people really care about then you just got to add value to it first. Like you have to, it can't be like because with social media, everything feels fake, like you're saying. So when you come across somebody that's different and that's genuine, you want to attach yourself to that. And that's what I've always did. I know that people want to be around winners, one. And if I'm not in a position to win, how can I serve? Right. So it goes from not what can I get, but what can I give? Right. And I know I got to be a servant first. And if I can say, hey, you got an event coming into to Houston. Hey, can I just be there to set up? Can I help you find a venue? When you get from the airport, can I pick you up? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do things like that, right, to build that relationship where it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, you're going to need something to eat. You're going to need to connect. Hey, matter of fact, you got a flight. I got a flight connect. You got XYZ. Like, I'm always adding value. You know what I'm saying? So when you change your mindset, like I said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, you got to change from, all right, what does everybody do? Everybody's trying to get mentored by Will. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to do credit. All right, so how can I become an asset to Will where he's going to need me or he wants to be around me? Where, how can I build that trust? And when you take that approach, it's easy. And then too, it's being yourself. I think, you know, even with women, right? When you can just be honest and transparent and vulnerable, people respect that. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a situation where you don't have it, you know, we never know what comes out of it. You know, say, hey man, like I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could come to your event, but I really don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything I could do in the meantime? And people would be cool. You know what I'm saying? So I just think just losing the ego, and it's being a genuine person and really caring, that's what's going to take you further. And people going to want to do business when you have the right heart.
Man, my grandmother used to say, pride will keep a person lonely. And I think what you've broken down was really the epitome of we got to put our pride aside. Be like, man, I ain't about to repost this stuff. Man, I ain't about to do this. I ain't about, like, when we get so like macho that is just like bro, like, why you so tough?
Right.
and like once we get over that bravado, and I think that's the correct terminology. Yeah. And to your point, when I was out on the road a lot, even before you and I got to the point where we are now, you would always, you know, post my stuff, retweet, you know, put the fire emojis, you know, I would do the same. And it really is something that simple because, as you said, we pay attention to that. Yeah. Because people really don't, as much as big of a figure that you may be or whatever platform I have, you don't have like what's called that super fan, but people who go above and beyond or put a little bit of extra effort and just showing, hey, I'm here to support you. I don't want nothing in return. I've had scenarios where I've seen that and I'm like, you know what? I remember you posted that you were going through something. Come to my event for free. Hey, let me send you my book. Hey, jump on one of my calls that's normally a paid call at no cost. And that's just how we reciprocate. And like you say, none of those things cost money. No. None of them. And that's how you build those relationships.
Yeah, like how we connected, right? We met, you know what I'm saying? We was out at a club, you know what I'm saying? I knew you, I watched your videos, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, you know, what's going on? I'm like, yo, let's do this. Hey, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's, you know, I just added value first. It was shit. I didn't want anything from you, but I was like, man, how can I really serve? You know what I'm saying? And when people do that, it's amazing, you know, how far you can get when you come in an attitude that's being a servant leader. Definitely, and like you said, and losing bravado.
Yeah, that bravado, man. And that kills more deals, all that stuff, man. So let's talk about some of the L's, Rob, because people can say, you know, man, y'all just talking about all of the good stuff. Yeah. You know, like how does one bounce back? Because we hear the stories. Big Sean had the song Bounce Back, and very few people share their lowlights. Everybody shares the highlights. We all share the wins, but we also know that we have a human element of, we go through things. And so what is it that helped Rob out that could help someone who probably can't get over that hump because they've experienced those losses and they don't know how to deal with it?
Yeah. It's one, I mean, I got so many, I don't know where to start. I mean, I've been homeless. I've been, you know, I've been asked out. Like the thing I would say for me, when something like catastrophic happens, even like last month, the things I was telling you about, I know that I have, you know, a son that I can't ever give up for. So it's got to be something bigger than you that you're like, all right, I'm going to continue fighting. Even if everything looks terrible, I got somebody that's behind me that's looking up to me right? Like, yo, this is my father. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do everything I can to win. And when I would say the biggest, when I lost the most money, when I was going around, I think in 2018, that's when I lost everything. And the divorce, even though my parents had passed, the divorce is probably one of the hardest things I was dealing with because, when somebody dies, your parents die, it's like a hole in your heart that never gets filled again.
Okay.
And for me, it was like my son who like kind of like, start putting the pieces back. And my son is the first person I feel like I ever got unconditional love for. So, when my father passed, I had a love coach, and the love coach was like, I want you to take three things that your father did that you love, and I want you to take three things that you wish your father gave you and give it to your son. And that for me was like, man, even though my dad was very consistent, my parents was married my whole life. I never had talks with my dad. Like we never did things. You know what I'm saying? Like we never really hung out. We didn't really have that bond. So when you see me with my son, I give my son all the affection in the world. I give my son, he's around me all the time, every meeting, because kids spell love, Time. Time. They don't really care about, like my son loves Roblox, but other than that, like he just want to be around me. And that's what kids are going to remember. So when you're going through a storm, I think having something like, whether it be yourself, whether it be that's bigger than you got to have something that says, I'm not going to give up. And then secondly, you got to put yourself and you got to ask people, like you got to humble yourself, put that bravado away and be like, yo, I'm in this position right now. I don't have anything. What do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to do. And you'll get plays, you'll get opportunities. And it's hard. Like even when you hit a high height, people just think like, man, everything is always going to be great, but it's your pride. Like it's a book called The Four Agreements. And it talks about never take things personal, never make assumptions. And it's another good one, but it's like never take things personal. So if I reach out to this person and I express what's going on and he doesn't give me the answer or help that I want, I don't just stop right there. I keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. And it's usually the people that are 1 degree of separation away that do more for you than people you've known your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually those cases, but you got to open your mouth, be humble and ask for help. You know what I'm saying? You can't be afraid of what it looks like and you got to be patient. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that help me. And then I got opportunities that I would have never known about. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like keeping those relationships are good because you'll have people that say, you know what? I got this play right here. Oh, your credit's terrible. Let me help you with your credit. You know what I'm saying? I got you a credit. Like, and I get so many things when I'm like, in so many deeper relationships because adversity teaches you two things: who really has your back. You know what I'm saying? Which is everything. Because when you killing, everybody your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody your friend. But when you lose it, you really be like, damn. I'm I'm on this island by myself. And if you haven't taken time to nurture and really spend quality time with your close friends and family, you miss out on things. You know what I'm saying? Right. You think the world is a dark place, but just like, no, when you was up, who would you hit up? Who was you around? You know what I'm saying? Were you going to see your mom or dad? But you're going to see your boys and everything was great. And usually it's not. You was with girls, you was flossing and doing all these things. So people don't take a look at themselves and be like, damn, man, I should have just, I should have did things differently. So that's why I just remain humble now because like when I go through things, storms, it's usually the people that don't have no money that do the best for me. Another story, like my father when both my parents died, they didn't have insurance. And I was the brokest I ever was when both my parents died. And I remember David, when my dad died, David and Manita came over and he just really sat in my house and we cried and he was just there. And he was like, yo, here's 5,000, you know what I'm saying, for the funeral. You know what I'm saying? He did the same thing when my mom died. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't ask him for it. You know what I'm saying? I needed it. You know what I'm saying? But he just automatically was there. And then I remember I had a friend of mine, a cousin, and this is probably one of the best stories. And I always get emotional telling this, but Jamel, right? I hit him like, yo, bro, like I ain't got nothing. I ain't got gas. And, it's hard when everybody see you as champion. But I hit him like, yo, if you can do anything, bro, just let me know. And then the next day he called me with his wife on the line, right? FaceTime me. And I was like, yo, bro, why you gonna tell you? Why you telling you? You know what I'm saying? So he was like, so she got on the line. She was like, Terrell, one, we just appreciate you for being open And we know these times don't come. It may not ever come back, but we would love to be there, for you anywhere we can. It was my birthday this weekend, and Jarrell was going to take me XYZ. And what I'm going to do, instead of going this place for my birthday, we're going to sing, I'd rather give you the money, what I'm saying? Because I'd rather help you, what I'm saying? Because you're such an awesome person. And it was $150, but that $150 was like 15,000 to me, what I'm saying? Because it was the heart, her heart about it, and just the love and the care. And it's like, man, these people still believe in me, what I'm saying? I felt like a failure, but man, I'm not no failure, what I'm saying? And hearing that and having somebody just be there for me in that way, it was everything. I cried for 5 minutes, and I tried not to take it, but it was like, they sent it, what I'm saying? But it was in those moments you really just see, man, like people are really good. And man, like you got to take time to spend with people, even if they don't have finances, but you want to have things emotionally. You don't have to hear things like when you go through storms and know people got your back. So.
Right, man. And so in hearing that, and those stories are powerful, man, because one of the things that the common thing that I'm seeing or hearing from you is that you've never had an ego about saying, hey, I just need a help up right now. Mm-hmm. And again, and I'll just say this because I can only identify with this, as a Black man, that is one of the hardest things for us to do. Mm-hmm. And so how do you teach that to your, and not saying that you have to, how do you teach that to your circle? Because your son, he's going to see that by default. But how is it that we're able to spread that message to our loved ones who may think that type of stuff is lame? Because I had to get to a place in my life where it's okay for me to ask for something, even if it's a big ask. I have to be like, Rob, look, bro. And so how do we get to that point, man? Because I think this is so important in a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, I think changes your mind, the negative connotation behind asking. Think about it. Growing up, we're always taught, I think poor middle class people, that if you ask something for somebody, you're weak. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just get rid of the myths that if you need help, that you're a bad person or you're stupid or people just look down on you. It's like, I don't know why we adopted that philosophy, but it's like, what's wrong with needing help? You've been, I'm 39 and I've had 2-3 times when I've just been on my ass. It's like, I can't, I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So why am I a failure if I need to call somebody and ask for something because I can't do it? You know what I'm saying? Why is that so difficult? And I think with me, it's like, why, if we say we love these people, right? When these people jumping off, commit suicide, like, man, I wish they would have said something. I wish they would have did something. It's like, because people are afraid, they're afraid of how people are going to make them feel, right? So I'm very delicate with that because it's like, people don't care what you say. People don't care what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And when somebody asks, I say, thank you for, being, strong enough to ask me, because it takes a lot of on your pride, especially as a man, to let somebody know you need help. And then if I can't do it, all right, this is what we're going to do together. Right. Mm-hmm. So, all right, you don't have it, bet. Let's put our heads together. Let's strategize. Let's do X, Y, Z. Then let's put our heads together. And I think when you see people like, yo, man, even if they can't, but they're still doing everything they can, you just see and respect people on a different level. So I think just getting rid of that, like, if you need help, that you're a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all need help. We all go, every single one of us, good, bad, or different. We all go through things all periods of time, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. And we just got to be one, just like say we're going to be there and stick together as a community, like all these other, ethnicities do. You know what I'm saying? Right. If they need something, you know what I'm saying? They got a group of people together. You see that? It's just us, because we've been under this lie that it says it's terrible to need somebody else. And it's like, if I say I love you or you're my brother and I can't come to you, for, money, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is that like, oh no, that's everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that shit so bad? No, nigga, I need help. Let's get it together. You know what I'm saying? So I changed my mindset. And then, like I said, that's one, you realize, man, like, it's so many things that come from that, so many deeper relationships. Because when we celebrating, man, I'm paying for everything. That's easy to take. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a limo, like, that's easy. But I can't come to you for when I'm down. Nah, I don't want that. I have to be able to do both with you. You know what I'm saying? I got to be able to be 100, because I'm going to have more times when, I'm down than I'm up. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be able to have my real brothers be there for me and know that I can trust you. So
yeah,
I think that's how we do it.
yeah, and it's so dope because I have this thing where I talk about there's concepts that the wealthy have adapted. That's actually a wealth concept, asking for help. So think about the psychology of that. The middle and lower class people asking for help is weak, but wealthy people, they ask for help all the time. They call in favors they're like, look, Joey, Bob, Ron, look, I need $5 million for this deal. My money is tied up in this real estate deal. Or I got burned in this situation, but look, I'll give you a piece of the equity. And so, like you say, figuring out how to strategize of even coming together, and even if it's something on $5,000 or $50, we just have to be able to communicate. But that all comes back to being comfortable with communicating. And again, which is a lost art, unfortunately, with us, because our pride is like, man, I don't want them to tell my business and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, look, I don't care. Because people going to have something to say about you, whether you up or down.
Period. Always, bro. Like, and David Meltzer, I did a podcast with him. He's the guy that Jerry Maguire was about. He lost 100 million. And I love his videos because he's so like human. He's so real. And one of the things he says, man, how do you bounce back from losing 100 million and getting clarity, getting inner peace to get everything back? Is he went to his friends and said, hey, how can I serve you? How can I help you? Then he went to them and asked, well, hey, this is what I need help with. This is what I'm struggling with. And it comes back so much quicker when you get this help in yourself and say, hey, I need this. You never know who really got your back. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Christmas. It's like, all right, well, let me just go to my contacts and reach out and say, hey, this is what it is. And really, you're testing your relationships, right? Because if you never test your relationships to see how strong it is, you don't really know who got your back. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, do that more often.
At all, definitely. So what's next for Rob? You know, I know we're going into, you know, a lot of things that you're involved in, from the metaverse to Web3, you know, and just other different business ventures and opportunities that, you know, you and I have shared offline. But what's like the overall vision coming up for Rob?
That's a great question. I think for me, I feels like I'm in a season of and I'm actually fasting now because I'm more so, I would say, a spiritual entrepreneur than just like a, you know, get money type thing. Like I've been able to really get almost everything I've ever wanted material wise. So right now I feel like a lot of things, projects I'm in, were like, they're there, but it's like not moving. And I feel like it's there because like I have to do more of this. I know so much, and on my Instagram, all I've shown for the last 2-3 years is lifestyle shit. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody even know what I do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even heard me. Like, and I got that from, I was around Geo, which is like P. Diddy's videographer. And he's like, bro, Rob, you need to show more lifestyle stuff. So when I did that, I went from 2,000 to 500,000. But it's like, now, okay, you have this audience, you know, how can you serve them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you, it's not about you. And I think that's where, like, all right, I'm like, okay, I don't feel like things are going to be released, you know, because I got so much in there. And so I can be like, okay, what can I really do for people? You know what I'm saying? Because you go through tests and hurricanes and trials for other people. And I feel like I haven't did that enough. So for me, I think purpose is what I'm focused on. And like I said, doing more things like this, helping our community, helping more Black men, helping everybody. But like, really, I have a heart for us, because I don't feel like we have, you know, enough voices that, like, you know, that are in our corner and let us know that we great. Even if we don't have money, if we don't have material things, you're still great. Like, society now makes you think, if you're in your 20s or early 30s, that if you can't buy this girl a Birkin, if you can't get this girl, you know, a Urus, or do all these things, you ain't a man. And it's like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really know, like, getting their lane until your 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people just got to be cognizant of that. Like, yo, give yourself time and just be okay with the journey, right? Because you're never gonna get to a place where, like, success is always a moving target. You never get to a place where you're like, all right, cool, I made it. Whoo! It's like, no, next go after next go, next after next go. But it's like, now, inner peace for me is, man, I have this person that I help that was able to get this house, or were able to do these things. So for me, it's, all right, how can I shift my focus on, all right, Rob being good to everybody else being good? And that's been a process, because, you know, I've had times when I did things for people, especially in Houston, and I feel like a lot of people played me, took advantage. So it took me some time to heal. And I feel like now, okay, I have a restaurant in South Beach, restaurant lounge coming. It's going to be the first NFT crypto lounge out there, because I think we need to be on the forefront of Web3. Like, that's usually a foreign concept to a lot of us because we get shit late, right? Like, we get on Bitcoin late, we get on all these things late. And it's like, I met so many people in Miami who've found a coin, put 10,000 in it, and it went to $1 million the next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think as our community, we don't know about the opportunities because people don't share. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we know is to be a rapper, athlete, because that's all we see, right? So we have to win, right? So other people, it's other ways to do it. Like, you don't even have to be a ball. Why not own the team, right? Like, that's what my son. You're not playing no, sports like that. Like, all right, let's just own the team. Like, we don't have to. Let's just own it. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Let's own this city. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're on that ownership now, and just making sure my son is. I'm doing these things now so my son can remember it. Like, I wish. Like, with my parents, I had more video, more things like that where I could have heard them, seen at this age, this is how they were. So for me now, this is like all things I'm going to leave for my sons, because now it's about legacy. It's not about, all right, Rob, this being good. It's like, all right, now I finally, honestly, I can say I have a heart for people now again. And now it's about, okay, how can I serve this human being and help this person become all they want to be? So that's where I'm at right now.
No, definitely, man. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure, Rob. You just sharing your story, man. Like I say, I get inspired every time that I speak to you, just because I know a lot of the backstory. And then I know just the plight that we as men, Black men, and just the societal things that we have to go through. But you never let that deter you. And every time I see you or speak to you, I can even hear the smile through the phone, man. And you just always emulating that positive energy, man. So I appreciate you, man. How can the people follow you and continue to continue to just tap in with this dialogue with you? Because I'm pretty sure more and more people are going to want to reach out to you just for that positive energy.
Yeah, I think, one, have you on Instagram. It's at Rob Coates, COATS. I got a YouTube channel as well. And like I said, I'm going to continue doing more of these. Like I said, I just got to work on being consistent and just being more consistent. But I really want to start just doing more. I think I'm going to be doing something with Zoda Goat soon, like some little tour for things like that. But I'm just about to get in the mix now, because I feel like, now it's purpose driven. It's not about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. You know what I'm saying? I know how to do that very well. It's about the people. So from this, and also I would tell people just follow you, because I'm going to be right there in your hip as well. You know what I'm saying? Right. So wherever you see Will at, you know what I'm saying? You're going to see me too. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you like, subscribe. And once again, man, just give people their flowers now. Like, don't wait till it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Because you really, you never know, you know what I'm saying, about, how long you have with people. So in closing, I would just say, man, just know that you're exactly where you need to be. Just breathe. Like, even if you're in a place where you don't want to be, take that time to appreciate it, because you're going to come out. You know what I'm saying? It's a season, just like the hurricane going on right now. It's going to pass, right? And when it passes, they're going to be in position, and you're going to be looking back one day and be like, man, I remember when I was there. And you're going to have a different level of gratitude. So be at peace, chase inner peace, chase loving yourself, chase working on yourself and being a better human being. And always know that people are looking at you. Even if you don't know, you got people looking up to you every step of the way. So make sure your actions, your heart, your intentions are good, and blessings is always going to find you.
Hey, as I often say, man, pain is temporary. Pain is temporary. So y'all heard it from the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Robert, aka Rob Coates, man. Again, we appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who tuned in to this episode of the Full-Time CEO podcast, the shit they don't tell you. Where, look, I told you, I interview dope individuals. You never know where the dialogue is going to take us, but more importantly, it's always going to be a path of greatness, talking about redemption and just talking about how to be a champion. But it all starts up here with the mental first. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, all that dope stuff. And until then, I'll see you at the top. Peace.